back to part 7 of the annular monoplane build, and an exciting moment. Time to lift the wing off the board. Let me show you more. As you can see, maybe, I've built up the little trailing edge section here and the bit that leads onto the aileron. I've drawn up the aileron shape, the bigger shape, not the little parallel shape. Why would you build that when you can build that? So it did mean I had to resculpture this piece a little bit because for some reason it's not as long, which is fine. So I'll build this one to go in there, and that will just follow that line through. And look pretty, that would be the aileron. Wow. So let's unpin things and see what we've got. As I say, an exciting moment. Whenever you're unpinning, I've said it before, but hold things down, because if the pin has picked up some glue, as you pull it out, it'll pull your structure up as well, which won't be good because it's going to be at a funny angle and will break and oh god. Okay, I think we're clear. Ooh, exciting, here we go. And that one has to be trimmed. Lovely noise. As the white glue breaks free from the balsa. And it's nearly off, it's off. No, it's not. Oh, it's off. Ta-da! Look at that. Wow-wee. Look at that. Gotta say, guys, that rather is spectacular. I can't offer it up to the fuselage because actually there was one thing I was going to do. I just remembered. I thought last night I must remember that. Should have left a note, and that is I just want to cut down the length of these bits that poke into the fuselage. So I got sidetracked with that curvy bit. Now this is going to be cut down. It's got to poke through the fuselage skin. I'm going to cut it over length because I've got room to do that. So I'm going to cut that one there. And this one actually cut short because it doesn't go into the fuselage side, it goes into the dummy engine cowling or go butts onto it. So I'll cut it slightly over length to start with. Right, let me just trim those. Wood under there. Put a bit of wood under it, it sort of stops it splitting because you cut past the wood you're cutting and into the piece you're cutting onto, and the wood doesn't have a chance to split. It's the theory anyway. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So there's a lot of sanding to do on the leading and trailing edges. It's got to be rounded. Not quite sure I'm going to get in. I have to go in like that, I suppose, and then perhaps I can make a curved sanding block to allow me to sort of do that. But anyway, let's sort of offer it up a little bit just to get a general idea of the shape. Things are a bit of a mess as usual, but still, here we go, port wing. Quite a solid structure actually. So that's going to sit approximately, that's right down there like that, up there, like that. Look at that, my goodness me. Look at that. It does have a slight dihedral. Somebody said they wonder how stable it's going to be, but it does have a dihedral. Those holes are actually in the right place, look at that. It sounds so surprised, Cliff. It does actually almost fit, which is good. Yeah, it does have a slight dihedral each side, but the rigging wires, I'm not sure what I'm going to use for those. It's 5 sets, front and back, all go up to here, all go down to an area down there. Look at that. Pop that back over there. I think I'll get the other wing up to this stage, then I can start sanding them all at the same time. So how do I build an opposite part of the wing? Because the plan only shows the port wing. Well, how do we get the starboard side? Well, there's 2 ways. You put it up to a window and trace all the positions, or you cover it with oil. Now that sounds a bit drastic, but in fact the oil soaks into the paper and you don't get oily hands at all because it sort of dries. In fact, I can almost see through this. Actually, I can see through it, so it won't take much oil in. So how exactly is this accomplished? Well, you get some oil, any old oil will do really, and you get a bit of tissue. And you just put some oil on like that. And hey presto, and you see the oil's drying rapidly. It's probably is oil on my fingers, but you can't see it. So there you are, it just goes transparent. So I'm not going to cover the whole plan with oil. I'm just going to do the little bits I need. So I'm going to carry on here, guys, and I'll see you back when I've done all my oiling. Not only that, it actually smells really nice. I like the smell of this lightweight 3-in-1 oil. Any oil will do it though. You can use WD-40. It's not quite as good as this, but it does work. Anyway, I'm going to oil this all up and I'll be back soon. Right, okay, so that's the plan pinned down, and I've pinned on the leading edge, the main spars. Actually, the leading edge stroke trailing edge, because it's both. And this one's loose. I'll glue that one, pin it down as I glue them. So, next step, I have a couple of spare ribs here, so I was able to use them as spacers just to get the spars in their rough position. Let's spring in a bit, but we'll spring back when the time comes. And yeah, so I've got to sandwich up some, here's my templates, sandwich up some ribs. Normally you do it that way. This one you do it one reversed. So I've got to make 9 ribs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the centre, and then a further 9 going the other way to the front. So all I've got to do is cut out some blanks. The ribs are actually 20mm high, and this is 100mm wood, so I get 5 blanks out of that. 15, 20, there's plenty of wood there. I'm using 3/32 because that's what I've got. Right then guys, I've cut the ribs, placed them in. Now I'm going to get some glue on them and get them placed in. I'm going to white glue them all, I think, this time. possibly, but I need come on out. They're a nice fit. There we go. Just going to do the end grain a bit. Those two need gluing together, so maybe now's a good time to do it. Just while I'm doing all the others, we'll just put a bit of weight on those, keep them flat. It's called pre-gluing the end grain. The end grain soaks the glue up. So if you do this, the glue will dry into the end grain, and when you glue it for proper, you'll have a good join. I want to glue them with CA, I've decided. So, but the front edge is going to be white glue, so just got to get this lined up now. About there. So about there will do nicely. I'll put a couple of pins in here just to hold it. Let's put this rib in. Put that one in, I can just bend that across into there then. Start to get things lining up a little bit. It's nice. Put one at the back there. Put that one through the rib and down. Nice. I'll just CA this one in and then carry on with all the ribs, and I'll see you back. Well, in fact, I could see you back when I'm coming to pull this off, because you've already seen the port wing being built. So yeah, I'll just keep working and work my way around, and then I'll see you back when it's time to pull it off, and it'll look pretty much like the port wing. This is the starboard wing. Just make sure, yeah, making sure I'm not building to a left-hand side, because they did make a biplane version of this aeroplane, actually, believe it or not. Not I'm suggesting I'm going to build a biplane version, but if I built two wings of the same side, then that would, in fact, come in handy for a biplane. Turn it into the biplane version. Have a laugh. Okay guys, I'll see you back in a little while. Possibly later tonight, if not tomorrow. I know you're all waiting to see this one finished and flying. It should be worth it, I think. When I'm on that runway, up on the patch, and all checks complete, and it's time to open the throttle. Well, it's going to be pretty amazing, I think. I was just reading through the build instructions, as you can call it that, anyway, the magazine article, and they were saying you can either make the plywood plugs to go into the fuselage to like have removable wings, or make it fully rigged, and I'm going to make it fully rigged. Not quite sure what I'm going to use yet for the rigging, but I shall make it fully rigged. I've got any pins left in? When I get glue on the plastic and I reuse it, then the glue sticks to the glue that's on the plastic. Just polythene bags, whatever you get. Okay, there we are. Needs a lot of sanding, but we all know these things require a lot of sanding. I just spent the afternoon listening to Jeff in Lower Alabama with his Friday summing up, or first Saturday morning summing up, and Chris's dad's RC hangar, and that, before you know it, you've built it. Right, this is there. This one, I haven't cut the holes in the rear of the fuselage because I wanted to do it directly from the aeroplane. I think I need to make the engine shrouds. I need to, oh, it's not far out actually, it will go. Then I can trim this one. I need to sheet this part, I think. Just move that back again. I'm looking at the wrong side now. It's still quite visible, as you can see from the oil. I need a rib on this side, about 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, 1/4 inch thick rib has to go on there, just reading about it. So you have an extra thick rib here, and you shape the inside of it to fit against the fuselage. Right, I've laminated some ribs together and roughly pinned the wing back onto the plan, and I'm going to glue it in. There's a little bit of spring back going on the main spars, but I want to glue these, take them off and do the other ones. So what I thought I might do is try, oops, that just broke it. Thought I might CA the front and white glue the rears, and hopefully that will hold it forward enough. So I've angled this one slightly because it is angled. The back one, yeah, it is angled slightly. Let's just put that in then. That angle. There is a slight dihedral on this, but I can sand that into that, or I can try and just very gently swing it back. Just very gently, just to help things. You can see the curvature now, actually, what we're talking about. It's about the centre part, so that's about it there. Do you know what? I think I'm going to glue these in with white glue and leave it pinned to the board overnight, because I've got plenty I can do tomorrow without worrying about unpinning it now. So let's just get some glue in there, get it drying. Okay. Lots of lovely glue squeezing out. You can see the little peg now that goes into the fuselage. It doesn't have to be any bigger than that because it's there's nothing on the inside. I think that will do okay. I might just put a couple of weights on that to hold it. No, it's going to squeeze out, but that's fine. I'll do the other one tomorrow morning. Then I think I can start cutting the holes in the fuselage to get it in the right places, to get the wing fit in. Sort of a trial fit, except they won't hold themselves up because there's no rigging. Okay, there we are. Oops. I'm happy with that, guys. So we'll continue. We'll pop that off the board tomorrow. I'll put the other one on and get this one to that one to the same stage, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, guys. So I've Glued in the 1/4 inch ribs on the second wing. This one I popped off overnight. I put a couple of gussets in there, just thought it looked better. So they're good. Next job probably is going to be sanding all this, and then I can offer it up to the fuselage. I still have to fit the little triangular reinforcement blocks here, 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 where the rigging goes. Then I put tubes in those, and then the rigging goes through those tubes. So just those to go in, and the sheeting on each end. But I want to start offering it up into the fuselage, and then once I've got these fit in well, then I can sheet it. Cool. I put together the side cheeks, guys. Go one either side of the fuselage, just contains the rotary engine, that way around. And I'm actually going to, they're also air intakes, and I'm actually going to make them as such. Get a bit of air into the front. I might put the ESC back there in front of it, which would be cool, but I haven't finished sanding them yet. Sanded them to sort of a rough section that way, but still got to go round and everything. But just for a bit of fun, just broke off for a minute. What I want to do is to try and get these wings fitted. As I said, there's quite a lot of sanding involved, and it's going to be difficult to sand this because it's in there. So interesting. Let's try sanding this way. Put a bit of paper under there. I'm not sure how this is going to work. Not very well. I've got to sand it down to the top of the rib and then around it. So let's just start on the end. If I don't get very far, then at the very least I can try plugging it into the fuselage. Oh yes. Let's try it here. Try it there. Now, let's get the other bit of wood out as well. Make it a bit more stable and a bit higher, like that. Maybe. Maybe that. I don't know. Let's just get on with it. The bits that plug into the wing are right on the end here. I want to make sure you can see actually. Let's just bring you it over this way. That's right, let's give it a go. Okay. Let's sort of offer it up and see what we've got. I'm not holding out a lot of confidence for the front. The holes I've made in the fuselage sides I think need to be a little bit bigger. The back ones aren't made at all, which I think I'm going to have to make. These aren't far out actually, he said, surprised. I think this one at the front is virtually going in, this one. This one here needs to go back a little bit. Yeah, I've got to move this one back a little bit as per plan actually, so I'll have to move that one back to there. While I'm holding it here, let's just offer that cowling. It's going to go yeah, pretty much there like that. But the back ones I haven't cut at all, so they've got to be cut, and it also has to be sanded. So let's do that. If I can get one fixed up for you guys to look at and me to look at, then that will be at the end of this part, I think. These here have to be marked on the fuselage side, which is, a quick look. Ah yes, of course. Now I'm looking at it, there's a datum line drawn under the plan. It goes from the bottom of this wing up here. It goes all the way down to the back of the fuselage. Basically both wings, both front, both both wings rest on the same datum line, and the datum line actually goes right to the bottom of the fuselage, leaving this main spar just above the rear stringer. So I've got to draw a line, sort of draw a line. Let's have a look. That makes life a little bit easier. Put that there. Put this down here. So we're talking about a rule. Let's just get my hopefully flexible steel rule. I was thinking this was going to be quite hard, but now I realise there's a point it goes down to, and I'm going to use a thin felt tip on that. Okay. Right, that is my line. Right, now I've got to round up the inside of this 1/4 inch rib, but also I can now mark the position of these slots needed back here. Can mark them. I'm not going to mark them, I'm just going to put a scalpel blade. Just going to put a scalpel blade either side of where the main spars are. I think I'll mark that one after I've cut these two, because it's up in the air a little bit. If you can hear a gurgling noise, guys, it's the freezer in the corner of the room. It seems particularly noisy tonight. Okay, front one. I got an offcut of that front one. I did have. There we go. There's an offcut. Okay, we're ready to mark the back one. If these go in the slots, of course. Allowing for a little bit of dihedral as well. Mark it. Okay, see how that fits. Once it goes in so far, then I can see what needs shaving off on the 1/4 inch rib. Holding itself now. Look, let's come back up to this end and have a look. Again, I can now see what needs shaving off on that rib. So let's just remove the blocks and get it on its wheels. And possibly, wrap this video up for this week, this part. Should pretty much stay in place. Pretty much. No chance. Let's get that one there. Couple of blocks underneath. There we go. There we are. So now I can just look down from the top, see exactly, that one needs to go in a little bit more, but I can see where it needs to come off, and likewise at the back, right there in the middle. If I get that felt tip pen, it wants to come off, it's about 1/8 of an inch to get it snug to the fuselage. So what I'm thinking is if I just run the pen like that, that's quite a big amount, isn't it? Won't be that much, but that gives you a rough idea of where it has to be cut. Sanded, should say. It's a bit long on the front there, but gives you an idea. Take it off there, and I think it's going to go in okay. That looks particularly weird, guys, doesn't it? Which is why we love it. Fantastic. So the main spars and leading edges and not the trailing edge actually, are glued in, but the wing is held up by rigging wires which go from the post to various points on the wing. In fact, there's two sets of rigging wire, the outside lot and the inside lot. That's a lot of rigging wire. Whether I do both sets or just the outside set, I'm not sure. I only say that because I'm envisaging problems actually doing it, and if I've got to double up the amount of cable, it's going to double up the problems. Anyway, we'll stop there. Let's wrap up part 7 here, guys, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with the progress. It's looking really nice, I think you'll agree. And for part 8 we'll carry on, get the wings fitted, I haven't built the elevon shot yet, that'll be fun, and start thinking about servo installations in the wing and fuselage, and just early planning for those things. Then you know what you're doing and where you're going. So yeah, quite pleased with the progress. Very, very pleased with the progress. All right, if I'm honest, very pleased with the progress. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next part. Give the video a thumbs up, and hey, look, less than 50% of you that watch my videos regularly aren't subscribed. It costs nothing. Just subscribe. It helps the channel to grow, helps the algorithm. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and see you in part 8. Cheers.